Welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode number 54. The show about Linux and all the facets of Linux. We cover things from all territories, websites, distros, news, how Linux is used in the world, just different funny Linux things, applications, all kinds of stuff. If you don't know anything about Linux, just listen to this show. You're going to get some gems out of here, even if you're a beginner, intermediate, or expert in the field. First, let me introduce the man who brings the goods. As my cat walks in front of the camera, I don't want to push her because she's going to stand on my laptop, which she almost broke the other day. Let me introduce the man who brings the goods, and we have a special guest on the show today. Well, first, of course, is the door-to-door geek, Steve McLaughlin. What's up, Door?
Hey, man. We've had some time off here. I'm kind of feeling rusty.
Rusty, yeah. Well, had some withdrawal going on, eh?
Exactly.
Some podcasting withdrawal syndrome?
Yep. So I tried to do Google Hangouts and people wouldn't join because it was, I guess, too late for them. So I just turned on the YouTube inside there and sung 80s songs to myself.
I thought that having a headache was the big excuse for not hanging out with you.
I might cause headaches, yes.
Well, I'd also like to introduce a special guest for tonight's show. You guys know Russ by now, I'm sure. Russ Wenner, the Techie Geek from thetechiegeek.com. Hey, Russ, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a special event coming up that Russ is going to talk to us about. Door, do you have any other introduction type things for Russ before we get going here?
Well, I mean, I know, how many shows have we had, Steve? 54?
Yes.
I know I've said his name about 53 times, but I would still like for Russ to tell us about his podcast, what it's about, and where can we catch it at?
Definitely.
Okay. The Techie Geek podcast is a podcast about anything techie. It is pretty much computer-centric, though. You'll hear about Windows and Linux and just about anything that appeals to your inner geek. I have a co-host for the last 10 or so shows. Many of the listeners know him. It's Tracy Holtz. He's a veteran podcaster himself. And we banter back and forth about cool and interesting things that we found since the last time we recorded. And then we usually have one or two rants about something, but we have a lot of fun, and it comes out about twice a month.
Very cool. Yeah, I highly recommend everybody check it out. If for anything, for the precise and meticulous notes and spectacular notes that Russ keeps and Tracy keeps for the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, Russ likes to rub in my face how good his notes are and how non-existent mine are. We're working on it. No, actually, no. For this show, we have Paul, so we got to give props to Paul. The most consistent note taker on the planet, I must say. Yeah. And thank you, Paul.
You're awesome.
All right, guys, take it away.
Okay, well, first I just had to say, to me, the best thing about Russ's show is that he is not biased. He will talk about anything that tickles his fancy, and I like the fact that I almost have no idea what I'm about to hear when I start his show, but I know it's going to be interesting enough to get me to click my mouse on something.
That's awesome.
That's the goal.
That's a good compliment.
Okay. Okay. Basically, in 30 days from the time that we are doing this show live, there's going to be a festival, if you will, the Ohio Linux Fest. I know it's been going on for a couple years. I knew about it a couple years ago. I really didn't get the time, the money, and I really wasn't sure why I should have went or not. I know Russ has went at least 2 times before, and hearing his enthusiasm and other people talking about it made me say to myself, I have to go. I told my loving wife, I don't need anything for Christmas. I don't need anything for my birthday. I don't need anything for anniversary. I don't need anything for Father's Day. I don't need anything. Just let me go to OLF. After some groggling and begging, I asked her to please take the pants off and I'll wear them for a second, and I'm going. And I really wanted Russ to give real world boots on the ground talk about OLF. So the first question I got to ask, Russ, how many years have you went to this event?
I've gone 3 times, 2008, 09, and 2010. And,
Very cool.
Here are my badges,
Wow.
which you need these. That's 2008 and 2009 and 2010. So
2008 is the best badge ever.
oh yeah, it's the 8-bit Tux.
I love it.
Tux
Nice.
is the Linux Penguin. So, yep, you got to save your badges when you go to a Linux Fest.
That's rule number 1.
That's rule number 1. So, yeah, my 4th year is coming up. I believe this will be the 9th year of the Ohio Linux Fest. I'm not sure. I didn't see it on the website anywhere. But what I wanted to talk about is the real man on the street, what it's like to go, especially if you never have gone, and if you've gone to conferences for work and you've seen a bunch of vendors and sat in a bunch of talks, just throw all that out the window, because that's not what this is like. This is a community run event, and when I was a Deadhead, they used to say there's nothing like a Grateful Dead concert. Well, you could say a similar thing about the Ohio Linux Fest, or probably any Linux Fest that's community run. The Ohio Linux Fest is talked about like it's the granddaddy of Linux Fests. It's beautifully run, very well organized. It's held every year in the convention center in Columbus, Ohio. The hotel for most of the years has been the Drury Inn, which is attached to the convention center, as is the Hyatt. I recommend, if you want to go and you have not yet made your hotel reservations, you'll want to do that very soon. The Drury will sell out. The Hyatt, possibly not, but they don't have the official rate, so you'll end up paying more.
How many days is it, Russ?
Well, the official conference is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with the bulk of the event on Sunday.
Okay.
Now, what I would highly recommend is that you come in on Thursday, if at all possible, and get there by like 3 in the afternoon. People will start rolling in. There will be people there even on Wednesday, but what's great, especially if you stay at the Drury, is that from, I believe it's 5:30 to 7, you'll get 2 comp tickets for the bar there. They put out complimentary food, and right then at 5:30 on Thursday, you'll start
drinking.
Meeting. Well, that too.
Just kidding.
You'll start drinking, but you'll start, meeting friends that you have possibly met online, but you'll make a lot of brand new friends too. It's awesome time, and that, for me, is where the fest begins.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, where you said Grateful Dead, the thing it has similar to that in my experience is the diehard passion. The Deadheads, if one thing you could never question them about, is the passion for the music, for the show, for the event. These events are not about getting your name out. This is not about seeing what products are available. This isn't really about really going out and learning, even though they have classes there where you can. It's really about meeting, joining, talking, meeting new people, having experiences about Linux, it seems like.
That's right. Yeah. There's nothing like it. I've been racking my brain of, how to exactly describe what it's like. It's something that you have to experience. one example I thought of, if you have attended professional trade shows, normally when you walk up to a vendor's booth, they want to exchange cards and set up a meeting and sell you their product. There's none of that kind of things. Even vendors
Really?
like Reason, the makers of Linux, pre-installed Linux laptops, PC servers, you walk up to them and it's another Linux user talking face to face and just, shooting the breeze about Linux, what's going on. One of the things that I would recommend, this is something that I've kind of learned, is when you go to the Ohio Linux Fest, even before you go, you'll have access to the complete schedule of talks and everything. And they are all so good that you'll want to attend all of them. And you won't be able to decide which one to attend. But what you have to remember is that every talk is going to be recorded, and in pretty short order, not too long, a month, maybe 6 weeks after the Ohio Linux Fest, all those talks are going to be available online.
Wow.
Slides, many of the slides will be immediately available.
Russ, do you have to have bought a ticket or anything to be able to view this online? Or?
No, not at all. That's another thing that's, vastly different from a professional trade show or conference, is you can attend the Ohio Linux Fest for absolutely free. The enthusiast registration costs $0. They do want you to register ahead of time, but there's no fee. I think this year, for the first time, they're actually charging $5 if you walk in without pre-registering, because it helps them a lot to know if you're coming. What I would definitely recommend, though, is if you're going, try to at least get the supporter package if you can. You're going to get a shirt. You're going to get drink tickets for the what's called the pre-party, which is on Friday night. You're going to get a lunch ticket for Saturday so that you can eat with your brothers and sisters in Linux Geekdom right there in the lunch area that they have set up. And that's great, because you're not going to want to miss anything. And one of the things that I would stress is that, that you spend as much time as you can meeting face to face with other Linux enthusiasts. As we are so used to meeting online, being in IRC, doing email, Google Hangouts, whatever, but it's just a different experience to be there face to face, and you're going to have chances to meet, and sit with people like John Mad Dog Hall. You're just going to have an opportunity to just sit down and chat, just like we are right now. It's amazing experience.
I can see from when I did click on the supporter package, if you guys are watching the video, and I could see an important lesson that I learned when I was selling T-shirts, because you do get a T-shirt in this, is that they have men's large, men's extra large, men's 2XL, men's 3XL, men's 4XL, up to men's 5XL.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
covered.
I'm the 3X, so I appreciate that. So I appreciate that. I'm actually between a 2 and a 3, but I like the loose fit. But
nice.
Yeah, it's great. Some of the things I wanted to get into, if you have a chance to stay at the Drury, you'll get a complimentary continental breakfast, which you won't get at the Hyatt. You'll get the best price. You'll get the drink tickets for 2 complimentary drinks from 5:30 to 7. They have free Wi-Fi in the Drury, which you have to pay for Wi-Fi at the Hyatt.
Okay.
Also, what's somewhat of a drag, not somewhat, a big drag, is at least the last 3 years that I've gone, there's no free Wi-Fi in the convention center. So you'll want a smartphone or something that you can tweet from post to Facebook, Google Plus, or whatever. So, another thing is that some of the things you ought to make sure that you bring, if you're staying in either the Drury or the Hyatt, you want to make sure that you bring at least one, if not two, outlet strips, because neither hotel has enough outlets in their room, and you're going to want to charge your laptop, your digital camera batteries, your phone, and there's not enough outlets, especially if you're sharing a room with somebody. Bring a couple outlet strips. And like I said, in the Hyatt, there's no free Wi-Fi, but the first year that I went to the Drury, we hooked up a switch in our room, and we had a couple people on the switch. So there is a hard wire, at least there was up to last year, I believe. And so you can be hardwired or on the Wi-Fi in the Drury. You want to bring a digital camera, of course. You could get by with just the one on your phone, but what I would recommend, bring a camera with plenty of space on your SD cards and just take pictures continually. Some of the most interesting pictures are ones that are just impromptu, just people standing around the table. There's going to be a half a dozen or so podcasters with tables. There'll be podcasters walking around, people that you recognize. You'll get to get your picture taken with them if you want. It's just a great time. So take lots of pictures. Another thing is, I know like the last 3 years, I have not been able to attend the Southeast Linux Fest, and it's broken my heart because I know how much fun it's going to be to go.
And where is that?
That's in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay.
And that's every June. It lands every June weekend that is graduation weekend around here.
Okay.
In the last 3 years, it's interfered with my plans to go. So that's been a drag. But what I've always appreciated is the people that are tweeting, posting on Identica, Facebook, Google Plus about what's going on there. It just really helps people who are unable to be there feel like they have some connection. It helps me get through. What else can I say? You'll want to bring a swimsuit. I've managed to take a dip in the pool each time I'm there, something a lot of people forget. So pack a swimsuit, hotel.
This is all good. Like, this is the stuff you don't read on the website, all the tips that you're giving us right now. This is stuff I found out the hard way. Right.
Yeah, and this will be my first year with a smartphone, so I'm looking forward to being more connected, especially in the convention center. Another thing is, go out of the way to introduce yourself. As geeks, we tend to be introverts. We don't, reach out. But you will regret if you don't just reach out and just start talking to somebody, and just walk up to a table or a group of geeks and say, hi, what's going on? Introduce yourself. And
did you learn this the hard way too? I mean, the first time you went, were you kind of like backed off a little bit, and then you realized?
A little bit. Being a podcaster, I didn't know what to expect. I was very pleased and flattered that a good number of people recognized me. At that time, I was also doing the Distro Watch Weekly podcast. Some people knew me from that. And that really was a great icebreaker for me. I got to have a couple beers with John O'Bacon from Ubuntu community. I had my picture taken with John Mad Dog Hall.
Now, when you had beers with John O'Bacon, did you have beers similar to how we did at Geeknik and perform the same type of feat when me and Steve D were there?
No.
Okay.
No, this was no. You're referring to when I dumped my beer and almost drenched your brand new iPhone.
It probably would have been a good thing. I would have got an Android phone quicker. But no.
Yeah, that would have been a good thing. But I really wanted to finish that beer.
I understand. I understand.
I was just there for lunch last week.
Oh, really?
My wife and I took my father-in-law out to lunch. That's one of his favorite places. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, that was a good time. So another thing is that every night, which would basically be Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night, people will be making arrangements like to go out to dinner at various places nearby. Everything's in walking distance, so you won't need to drive anywhere. I have tended to gravitate towards the guys from the Linux Link Tech Show. We've gone to places, I think it's called, they just call it the Mongolian, but it's
Right.
The Mongolian barbecue. It's a place where
yeah, place is killer.
It is. We've gone there at least once every year.
They serve you raw meat, basically, and then you get to throw it on a stone where the guy cooks it, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the place. So
you just get a bowl
you go
of raw
in there.
meat.
There's like two salad bar kind of arrangement. You go through like a
meat
buffet
bars.
line. Yeah, there's a meat bar and a raw veggie bar, and you fill up two bowls, I think, right? Is it two bowls, one with your meat and one with all your veggies and stuff?
Dude.
And you put some sauces on them, and they dump them on a hot grill and cook them right up in front of you.
Yeah.
And you get like a bowl of rice or tortillas with it, or whatever. Yeah, I think there's soft shells that you can roll.
Yeah.
Like fajita shells. I'm not sure I think they're called tortillas, right?
Anyway, I think so.
It's a great time. We've been there with over 20 people already, so they can handle the crowd. Of course, Barley's is almost across the street from the convention center. The first 2 years I went, that's where the pre-party was. It's kind of a legend there. I guess the first 8 pre-parties or 7 pre-parties were at Barley's in the basement there. It was very loud, and it felt very fire trappish. I always felt a little nervous in there, but it got warm and it was hard to get to the free food that they put out, but it was a great time. Last year, and I regret that I forget the name of the place, but there's another place just as close, much bigger, 2 bars, lots of room to move around, plenty of food. The Friday night pre-party you won't want to miss. It's always sponsored by one of the big sponsors there. In fact, I'm wearing this is the Nagish shirt from last year. That was the free shirt they gave you when you came to the pre-party.
Oh, cool.
And it's great. And you'll start out, if you bought a supporter package, you'll start out with 2 free tickets. But a number of people just come over to get the free shirt, have a little food, and they'll give their drink tickets away.
Right.
I've never had to buy a drink at a pre-party, and I've always had 6 or 7 at least. So one caution, though, you do not want to get plastered at the pre-party. Just drink responsibly, because you're going to have a long day on Saturday. You absolutely do not get hammered on Friday night. There's just do a little searching around for Dan Washko from the Linux Link Tech Show. It was 2008, I believe. It's pretty much a legend. I think you can even find a YouTube video of him mooning the he reenacted he mooned John O'Bacon at Barley's at the pre-party.
Why?
And John O actually caught a picture on his cell phone, but
why did he moon him?
Just because he was drunk out of his mind.
Okay, it's a good enough reason as any.
Yeah, and then Dan sadly ended up missing a lot of the show Saturday. So just don't overdo it on Friday. You will definitely regret it. But do have a good time. It's a blast. Last year I hung out with Klaatu and a number of his other friends, and Monster B was there. I'm forgetting his buddy's name. We just, for 2 hours, we just stood around just chatting about Linux and all the good community goodness. It's just such a blast.
Wow.
So the pre-party is awesome. Thursday night, if you're in Thursday, you can make a party of your own, head over to Barley's or out with friends. And likewise on Saturday. Sunday, I have never hung around for the thing that they have on front. It's the Diversity and Open Source Workshop. I have not stayed around for that. But I imagine it's worth staying around. I just need to head on home by that time.
Cool.
Okay. What else could I tell you about?
You have any questions for him, Dor?
Well, I mean, the one thing I want to emphasize to people is, yes, there's beverages there that contain a certain level of fermented qualities, but this is, to be honest, I don't want to say family friendly per se, but Russ brings his dad in the past.
Yep, I will again this year.
Is he a geek?
Well, yeah, but not a computer geek. Definitely a geek, though. My dad, it was actually Memorial Day 2008. I was at a picnic at his house, and I was actually not planning to go to the Ohio Linux Fest, and I was kind of lamenting the fact he was just asking me, what's going on, and I said, there's this Linux Fest happening in Columbus, Ohio. It's going to be at least 9 hours to get there. I don't know if I should do it. I'm trying to decide. And he was like, I'll go with you. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I'll share the cost with you. And that just kind of sealed it.
Oh, wow. Of course.
So, yeah, so he's been going every year. My dad runs Ubuntu Linux in a VirtualBox VM on his Vista laptop. And listeners to my show have heard this before, but his favorite app in Ubuntu is Sudoku. He loves Sudoku, and something about the version that's installed in Ubuntu, he just loves to do that. So,
That's so great.
Basically, when I visit him, I keep his Ubuntu install updated and everything, but he just does Sudoku. But yeah, he has a great time. He's gotten to know a lot of the guys, especially from the Linux Link Tech Show, and Dave Yates from a lot of Linux Links. And they all know him, and he comes out to dinner and the pre-party and just has a good time.
Wow. That is cool. Good for you getting them out there.
Yeah. Another tip, make sure you bring like a backpack. Would probably be the best thing, but something that you can carry all your swag around. You're going to get lots of swag. I have here a bag. This is my bag of swag from past shows. I like swag. I don't know what it is about swag, but this is the
Is that a hacky sack?
This is the hacky sack from Tilts, the Linux Link Tech Show.
Nice.
Yeah, so they had these one year. These are highly coveted. There's always folks from Google there. This is a Google Notepad booklet to take notes in.
Wow.
So, you got to get one of those. Of course, all the distros there are giving out their CDs. There's Fedora 9.
Oh, that's cool.
These are all the real, these aren't ISOs. These are, I got a bunch of
Wow, that's an old
Ubuntu
one.
Servo. Yeah. Yeah, I got Kubuntu, got them all here. I got OpenSUSE,
Neat.
11.1.
Oh, that's cool just to have those in the original case.
And then, oh yeah, and the stickers. I've already got my laptops plastered with stickers, but you know, we got what do we got here? Fedora stickers, Ubuntu user stickers. What do we got? Python. Everybody's represented there. Stickers are all over the place there, and I just piles and piles of stickers.
Nice.
Yeah, the swags, buttons, pens are like my favorite though. And the thing is, I should probably use this stuff, but I don't know. I get attached to my swag. Here's a Google pen.
Get attached to. That's cool.
Yeah, Ubuntu pen. I'm afraid to lose this stuff. I get attached to it.
Right.
It's weird. I don't know what it is. But
awesome,
It's good times.
yeah. So yeah, I have a collection of swag, and what I always do. Now, my dad, he picks up one of everything too, and then what I do, he gives me most of his, and then my good friend from Linux Crazy podcast, Dave Abbott, he's never been able to attend, so I send him a care package of a bunch of swag every year. So
Nice.
that helps him feel like he got to attend.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's nice of you, Russ.
Yeah, so make sure you bring, I recommend a backpack because then you can keep your hands free for shaking hands, taking pictures,
Right.
stuff like that. So
Awesome, man.
definitely bring something like that. You will walk a lot. The Columbus Convention Center is huge. It's probably, no kidding, like a half-mile walk indoors from the Drury to the section of the convention center that the Ohio Linux Fest is held in. So you will put on some miles. That's one thing the Hyatt has over the Drury, is that it is much closer to what's going on at the Ohio Linux Fest.
I see.
So the 1 year we stayed there, that did help my dad a lot. He walks with a cane, and that helped him a lot that it was closer. So
Wow. A lot of info, man. This is good stuff. I appreciate it, Russ.
Very cool. Yeah, my dad just retired from the Hyatt, worked there after his police career. He got me a room at let's just say, at a rate I couldn't refuse at the Hyatt. Since, you know, he works at the one down here. So I'm gonna be staying there. I didn't realize it was closer. I thought it was physically further, so that's really good to know. It does seem like the event itself is mainly meeting people, and then the evenings are about going out, getting food, hanging out, and just, you know, experiences go back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, people just talk, and that's where people like, I think, Mad Dog or someone else who's basically epic in the Linux world, you just want to sit down and just listen to him talk about anything.
Absolutely. I haven't missed any of his talks. I mentioned a little while ago that you're going to have the temptation to try to attend at least one talk in every track, and I would recommend against it. Pick one or two that you really want to attend, and then spend the time out in the convention hall itself while the talks are going on, because for one, there's a lot less people out in the convention hall when the talks are going on, but you'll have the most intimate conversations with the people at the vendor tables, the podcast tables, or whatever. And everybody there is a Linux user. So whether you're walking up to a vendor, you go walk up to the HP table or the Asterisk table, or it doesn't matter, ZA Reason. Everybody's a Linux user. Everybody's friendly. Everybody wants to talk geek, and it's great. If you're a podcaster like myself or Dor and you're there, Bring something you can record with, even if it's a portable audio player. Most of them have a record feature, and make a impromptu on the spot interview or podcast. I've done that every year on the way home. I've made an episode where I did a review of that year's Ohio Linux Fest. So you'll definitely want to bring a portable recorder along if you can.
Cool. All right.
Any questions?
Well, the one thing I want to highlight that might have slipped by people, you said it's about a 9-hour trip for yourself. It's about a 10-hour trip for me. And this is not too far in my eyes. The Southeast Linux Fest for you is probably pushing 12 or 13 hours,
Yes.
I guess, Russ.
Yes.
For me, it's about 12, almost 11, 12. To me, it just snuck up on me this year. Couldn't go. I'm going to try to go next year. The one thing I want to emphasize to people, just because it's not 1 to 2 hours away does not mean it's out of your reach. If you get in early and you get in with the hotels that are supposed to be hosting the event kind of thing, you do get pretty good deals, pretty good rates.
Yeah.
Also, most of the time, from my experiences, the hotels almost encourage you to share rooms. So, get on the IRCs, get on the Google Pluses, get on the mailing list, find someone you can room with to save money. Also, try to find people where you can actually basically carpool there. For
Definitely.
me, a fair amount of the money I'm going to be spending is in gas. To carpool with people would be a huge savings. So the event is not meant for you to go there and stand by yourself and just look around. It's about people. You might as well do it in the car, since Russ brought up meat. You might as well do it in the car. You might as well do it in the hotel room too.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm fortunate I'm able to go with my dad, and it's a great time to hang out with my dad. But I know that most everybody carpools, and start now looking for someone to either carpool with or room with, and save a lot of money and definitely increase the enjoyment of going.
Cool. All right, Dor. You still there? Oops. I think we lost Dor, Russ.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Dor.
I'm here.
You're breaking
I'm
up.
here.
Okay, you're back. You're back.
Okay. I was here the whole time.
Turn off that back up to whatever server you're doing.
It wasn't me. I swear.
Are you hardwired?
Is she watching
Okay.
Netflix?
Okay.
Serious?
Probably.
She can't hold off Netflix. 1 hour.
Well, that's
1
the
hour.
other reason. Listen, that's the other reason I got to go to OLF. A very dear friend of mine is going to help me with a computer box thingy where I can put a second NIC in and I can do QoS service and throttle her down.
Nice. I'll tell you what, next time we do a show, just hook her up to the neighbor's Wi-Fi on her Netflix. You think she'll notice? You think she'll notice?
They're all locked down.
Okay.
Trust me. Already one step ahead of you, buddy. But just like Russ said, even if you don't podcast, seriously, bring a type of recording device. Now, we're not going to be able to see Dan. Dan's not coming this year. His wife's just turned out to be pregnant, which I know that doesn't sound right, but she's pregnant. Him, good man, staying home, kayaking, and, doing the daddy thing. So we're not going to be able to catch him doing stuff this year, but you never know who. Hey, it's my first year. You could catch me doing something. But this is something, to be honest, you're going to want to have video of, because A, you're going to see somebody really cool. Or B, you're going to record somebody really cool and not know it's really cool until later. Or like in Southeast Linux Fest, you might get a girl that screams, "I like Linux too," and lift her shirt to you. Anything's possible. I'm just saying. I'm looking at buying, and here's one thing I wanted to ask the podnutzian communities. I'm looking at buying a flip cam, handy cam thing. The only requirements I have has to have a removable battery because I'm looking at buying a second battery, and 2, cannot have internal only storage. I need removable so I can keep going, keep recording. I don't want to have to stop, plug it up to a device and go,
Right.
Not done yet. So there's 2 I'm looking at. Any other people with suggestions, I'm wide open. 2 I'm looking at. Toshiba Camelo S30 full HD camcorder. I can get it for like $80 at my local BJ's, but a second battery on it says it's only $10.
I think Lalo may have bought. I know Lalo bought an HD Toshiba camera for under $200. So that might be. You could ask him.
Cool. And the second one I was looking at, I've never heard of. It's called a Wolverine MM100B My Movie. This thing got pretty phenomenal reviews from other places too, including CNET. This one says it's 110, and I'm really camera noob. I don't know cameras. It's like talking. I might as well be talking about Mac OS. You know.
Well, you're doing the right things by checking reviews. That's always what I did. I always ended up with a Canon, but for under 100, it might be a different story.
Right. Well, and I really trust the wisdom of the Podnutz crowd, because to me, you know, everybody I've met to talk with, dealt with from Podnutzians, always, if they don't know something, they don't act like they know something.
Right.
They always are willing to assist when someone asks, and this time it's me asking.
Door doesn't ask for much, guys. Let's serve them up some info.
I try not to. But I am going to bring my Nokia N810. I'd like to bring another video recording device, and just like Russ is telling us about the real experiences, I don't want to record conferences. I don't want to record someone standing up on a pedestal talking about, well, he's not standing on the pedestal, he's behind the pedestal, you know, because that's going to be done by somebody professional, you know.
Yeah.
Walking through the halls, you know, I want to videotape that. Walking into the front of the convention center or whatever, I want to record that. I want people to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, and of course I'm going to post it on Google Plus, but yeah, that goes here or there. I really honestly can't thank you enough, Russ, for telling us, you know, about the real world examples of what goes on there. I really can't encourage people enough to check it out. If you're even 3 to 4 hours away, listen, if you're like 5, 6 hours away and you've never been to a Linux Fest and you don't even know what Linux is, but you're listening to this show for some reason, it isn't really Linux. It's geekdom. It's geeks.
Absolutely.
You know, if you have any hesitation, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll do everything in my power to buy you a steak dinner. Come by. Wow. Now, if you already told me you're coming, that doesn't count.
And he said he would do everything in his power. It's not a definite.
Very, very ingenious there, Steve. See, you picked up on that. Okay, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to rush Russ at all because I need to know this too. This is going to be my first year, so I'm really, you know, geared up for this. The first really quick thing I want to talk about, Humble Indie Bundle, Steve. We've been through this before, okay? This one literally just ended, I want to say 2 or 3 hours ago. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, right when it started up. Okay.
So we're too late then.
We are, but we can talk about it.
Okay.
They sold 372,000 bundles for a total of $2,167,000.
Wow. I'm getting into the indie bundle business.
Well, now they don't tell you where the money went. Okay. Okay. Now I will say the large percentage of the total dollar amount did come from Windows users. I'm not a fool. With 95% desktop penetration, because that's what I think they're, you know, never mind. With that much install base, they're going to be the most highest number of sales. And the highest dollar amount of sales. Let me get that right. Dollar sales. But when it comes to bang for buck, Linux once again
killed everyone.
Blew them away, which just proves stop saying Linux is for cheap people.
Go ahead and
Linux
tell us the numbers, Dor.
Well, the total payments was $2 million again. For the average purchase price was around $580. The average Windows users $4.89, Mac user $7.72, and Linux user $12.04.
Awesome.
I will say I did purchase 2 of these. Last time around, the Frozen Byte bundle, I didn't have the money available. Someone very nice at Linux Basics heard me say that, and I got a thing saying, here's your code to download the Humble Bundle.
Wow.
So I basically, as soon as I heard about this, dinged him. I said, do you want a bundle? He said, well, you don't have to do that. Nope, done. I paid more than this, more than twice as much as that. Partially, I want to support this. I want this to continue. I want this to keep going. I want this to get bigger. I want this to get better. I want this to get deeper, further, stronger, better, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to do that is by showing support. What they have now is already near epic. I mean, you have games in there like Steel Storm, where if you haven't seen that, it's quite silly good. You know, I can only imagine if this keeps up in 2 years, what kind of, they're going to be, to be quite honest, competing with very major vendors and manufacturers of games. And I like to believe I'm helping that.
I think you are. I agree with it. Yeah, Steel Storm looks pretty badass, actually.
Yeah. So, and since I bought this one, I automatically had access to the Humble Bundle 2. Okay. I had Frozen Byte, which gave me access, I believe, to 2 already. So now with the 2 Humble Bundles I have access to 3 Humble Bundles, just because they're good guys and they just throw it in.
Damn. It's amazing.
So as soon as my son stops crying from football practice, he can have some games to play. Okay. Next link I want to talk about super quick. Ubuntu One. Dropbox has gotten a lot of bad press. I've helped with that. It's very insecure service, really personal, dramatic type information. You really should think twice about putting it on Dropbox. Ubuntu One, safer. Not saying it's safe. Safer. Partially because it's not as big of a target. It doesn't have close to the user base. They upped their user maximum storage capacity limit from 2 gigs up to 5 gigabytes. There is a Windows version where you can access your files and upload your files. You can access it through a website. So technically you can be on Windows only, and here's 5 free gigs of storage.
So you can run Ubuntu One on Windows.
You can go through the web interface, and I know they had a Windows app in beta a year ago. I have to believe it has to be ready by now.
Right.
Have to. And they do have Android apps. So this is just another way the cloud can store your stuff. Once again, you know, if you're going, use common sense. Don't put the most critical things on these sharing services, period.
Right.
You know, I was going to say. And to be honest, I almost enjoy the simplicity of my Ubuntu One. It comes pre-built with the systems that are Ubuntu I have built in. All I have to do is activate it, name what I want to call this computer, and everything gets downloaded and synced.
Huh.
You know, just good stuff. Do you use that tool, Russ?
Yeah, I use Ubuntu One for storing my pictures that are like my super keepers, you know. Like I have like 20 gigs of pictures, but only about a gig and a half are like really special pictures. So I keep those in 2 places. One on a external USB drive and then one in Ubuntu One. So that's awesome that they upped the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 2 places, you got to do it. If you don't, you're asking for trouble. This next thing, Steve, I had to mention just because it caught me off guard. Okay. Before, months and months and months ago, I showed you how you could connect remotely to some box in Denmark or something that hosted virtual machines and running No Machine, one of Russ's tools that he loves.
Awesome.
And then you could remotely over the internet access a fresh Ubuntu VM and do whatever you wanted to in it. Okay. This takes that same kind of thing, turns it around a little bit, changes a little bit, but kind of similar results. From JPC-2. That's the name of the website, and it is us.jpc2.com. From this interface, that website, you click either Windows XP, Windows XP plus Office, Ubuntu 6 or Ubuntu 8, I believe it is, which are both slightly old, let's just say. And you get basically...
it's starting up. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you can get like Java applets, or you can get Windows EXEs, and you can actually run in your browser, essentially, Windows or Windows plus Office or Ubuntu 6, which is 4 years old, or Ubuntu 8, which is 2 years old, and literally run it in your browser. If you have no idea what Linux looks like, acts like, anything, you need to check it out. Or if you just need a fresh place to test something stupid, good, very good site to have in your pocket.
Yeah, you just log on and click on the OS you want to run, and it just starts. I mean, mine's taking a little while, but it's going.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, who hosts this and for what purpose?
JP2 whatever, I don't know.
Just for fun, for the common good, they're doing this?
The impression I got was the person did it as a proof of concept to show that it could be done.
Gotcha.
And that was really it. I don't think they intend on selling this. Right now it's not open source, but they do plan on releasing at least parts of this to the open source world.
Okay.
So in a couple years, we could be able to hypothetically run an OS through a browser. So once again, if you're on the Chromebook, you might be able to still access Windows XP or Ubuntu.
Awesome.
That was some really careful verbiage in there because I really don't know if it would work there. Okay, next thing I just wanted to give as a reference. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned Buyer Brown Freshly Minted Journey podcast.
Yeah.
And I really,
what?
I'll say, I'm not good at describing some things sometimes, and I sometimes make up words. But I gotta say, I put a link to the Linux Basics forums, and it's a post that he did where someone basically asked, "What is a desktop environment?" Okay, to the Windows users, what I just said it was Greek. A desktop environment has nothing to do with the command line. I can tell you what it's not. It's nothing to do with the command line. It's nothing to do with the kernel, nothing to do with the audio, kind of nothing to do with the video, and nothing to do with inputs or outputs. It's merely a layer that sits on top of the operating system that is displayed using right now Xorg to bring you all of the GUI content. Now, there's a desktop environment and there's a window manager. Shamil Shamazel, they both work together to give you the end result product. But Buyer Brown posted on here a very honest, humbling example. Basically said, I'm not going to act like I understand a DE fully, but as I study, I am starting to form my own thoughts on the topic. Very clear, very concise, stating this is not facts. Smart guy.
Well stated.
Exactly. And he basically says to the newest of new users, a desktop environment is a window manager, and a window manager is a desktop environment. They just, one stops at some place and one starts at some place. And to be honest, some of them go a little bit deeper and some of them go a little bit more shallow. And the way he states it and goes through it is basically how I think of it, but there's no way I could put it like that. And to be honest, this is the reason why I encourage people to not only visit his site or download his cast. If you do listen to it, give him feedback, send him emails, hit him off on Google Plus, on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever, and just let him know what you think about what he's doing. Good, bad, or indifferent. Without feedback, the author really is, floating through space.
This is true. This is true.
Which, of course, if you want to, still on Windows, and want to go to iTunes and leave us a review, you're more than welcome to. Russ, I got to ask, have you checked out that? Well, no, you're like 2 months behind in your podcast.
Yeah, I'm 2 months behind in my listening, but what's your question? See if I can help.
I was going to ask if you have listened to the Buyer Brown freshly minted podcast.
No, I have not.
Well, I'm just going to say, if recently or in the near future here, you do decide to just, like a Band-Aid, rip off all the old ones and just start now, which I admit I've done twice in the last year and a half, then you need to put this one into your rotation. I honestly think it's brand new, but right up there with some of the better podcast, period.
And he sings, you said, right? Isn't he singing it?
In his opening theme, I forgot to upload it again, Steve.
Sorry.
In his opening, now here's the thing. This is why I like Podnutzian Land. In his theme, he sings and he has a couple backup singers. Another guy who's a Podnutzian asked for assistance with his sister's, might have been his cousin's, website. His sister cousin is a singer. So I said, I'll find someone to help with that website if you talk to her about helping Buyer Brown. Because if she's a professional or, singer, hell, or, can't hurt.
I guess not.
Well, it might make him sound not as good, but at least I'm trying to help. So I just got to say, check it out. And if you do, please take a little bit of time and just give him some feedback. That's all I ask. And if you listen to the Techie Geek, give him feedback too.
Give us all
hit him
feedback.
off on, I just hit him off on Google Talk. Okay. There was just really one thing I really had to talk about more, Steve.
Yeah.
And it's only because it's, to me, the essence of, and this is not going to sound good to some people, this is the essence of Linux. Taking something, adding to it, twisting it, changing it a little bit, and voila, you have something you might not have expected. Someone went and bought a used Department of Defense unmanned flying drone. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say they only had to pay something like $200. It was a really good price. Technically, the thing flew when they bought it. Okay.
Okay.
They did some of this, they did a little bit of that, they did a little bit of this, and they took it to DEF CON, which immediately should raise warning flags. Okay. What the person was able to do was made the flying device, and supposedly it can fly pretty low, pretty slow, and pretty quiet, but it's still a plane. Okay. It can hack and crack Wi-Fi networks and GSM networks, and it has a LTE wireless card in it, so in real time it can publish back its findings, its results, its hacks, and its cracks back up to the master server.
It just flies through wireless networks and cracks them in midair.
In midair.
This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
And the main piece of hardware behind it is our Arduino. Now, the flying part, whatever, that's Department of Defense. But the hacking cracking was Arduino. Arduino, if you are interested at all in hardware hacking, you owe it to yourself to check it out.
Now, when you say this is a plane, this is like almost an RC plane size.
It's slightly bigger, I would say.
Yeah.
Where an RC plane, I would expect from tip to tail to be, a foot and a half, 2 feet. This looks like it's pushing 3 feet to me.
Right, but a person doesn't Like you can't even come close to putting a person in it.
You might be able to put a stem cell in it, but not a person.
This reminds me of Leo's RC simulator.
Exactly.
The coolest app on Android market.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Just as an aside.
Right. So this is really a proof of concept kind of thing. They wanted to show it can be done. There are plenty of people out there that still don't understand. Technically, WPA is now kind of crackable, and GSM, which with me as being a glorious Verizon customer, I use GSM all the time. And it's a very old technology. With this plane, can easily just crack right through my stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think everybody's going to get planes and crack each other?
No, it was more of a, look what I can do.
I know.
I honestly think it's going to open people's eyes. This might be the beginning of Verizon and other GSM providers, because I think there is one more, to finally change their ways and start to think maybe a little bit about security.
Right. It takes something like this to actually get that done.
Right. And they even made the instructions available at rabbit-hole.org/how-to. They give you a step-by-step on how to make it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I'll say the operating system on the plane is Backtrack, which is like hacker's delight. It comes preloaded with all the tools you need to do large amount of hacking, packet sniffing, capturing, spoofing, whatever kind of words like that you can think of.
It's pretty cool, man. That's a good one, Dor.
Oh, and let me tell you something. If there's one at OLF, they better have it bolted down.
We gonna smash it if you see one?
No, I'm taking it. Are you kidding? I'm flying that thing all over the place. And just the last thing I want to just mention super quick, and it's not on the notes, and it's not going to be on the notes. On Google Plus exclusivity thing, first off, thanks everybody for sending me my invites. I'm seriously getting like over 50 to 60 invites a week. It seems
invite
like
requests.
Yes, sorry, invite request. I'm telling people you have to give me a Gmail account. You don't have to, but you really have to, because if you don't, and I send you the invite to Hotmail, it forces you to make a Gmail account, and then you're not in my circle. Because I have the Hotmail account in my circle.
Right.
So I'm telling everybody you got to make a Gmail account. Sorry, but that's the way it is. But it's an exclusive thing on my G+. I'm in training this week. It's Microsoft training, Steve. So it really is the most mundane thing ever. 3 minutes into each day, I'm already yawning, even though I drank over 32 ounces of caffeine right before I walked in the door. But it's at a place called System Source in Hunt Valley, I think. Might be Owings Mills, Maryland. Whatever. It has a computer museum in there, okay? It's not gigantic, it ain't huge, but it's friggin' cool. They got everything from old portable, like handheld computers, like the old Mac. Oh man, the one that really failed horribly.
Lisa, yeah.
That wasn't the handheld one. That's
the Newton.
The Newton. Right, they got those kind of devices. They have PDP-8s, which are the size of closets. They have the old portable computers, which are like the size of a suitcase.
Right.
They have hard drives that are literally the size of a desktop computer back from the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
They have all kinds of frigging cool stuff. If you're in the Maryland area and you enjoy computers at all, every Wednesday, 12:30, System Source, on Clubhouse Road. It's 338 Clubhouse Road. Every Wednesday, 12:30, they give you a tour of the museum. It is frigging cool. If I had one of those cameras I wanted to OLF, I'd be recording this tomorrow. But alas, I don't. So I'm not.
That sounds pretty awesome.
But when I get one, I don't care. I'm going to take off half day of work and I'm going up there and I'm recording it.
Okay.
Unless they try to kick me out.
Now, the camera in your phone is not bad.
Yeah, but I can't do anything long.
Okay.
I can only do little bit, wait. And there's no doubt in my mind, it kills the battery.
Right. Okay.
And with 400 plus apps, it ain't good.
Gotcha. All right.
I
understand now.
Right? But yeah, I posted like 20 something pictures of all different kinds of cool stuff on there. One of them, gotta say, it's a play school toy, roughly 1 foot by 8 inches. You remember the old stand-up tower reel-to-reels of the tape? Yeah. It was one of them.
That's great.
Yeah, they had all kinds of cool stuff there. And the teacher actually cared about the subject, knew about the subject, could answer questions about the subject, didn't stink, didn't talk about a drinking problem, and at least was attractive.
Really?
This is the only place I've ever been training before where I literally don't want to just punch the instructor right in the face. She's actually, no, man, female, doesn't matter.
She's hot.
She's very attractive. She's a little bit older, Steve, but she's very knowledgeable, and she's able to answer questions people ask.
Wow.
She doesn't stop and go, that's a really good question. I'll have to look into that. Oh, jeez. I get tired of that answer after a while.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, Dor.
Yeah. And I was going to say, Russ, I really can't thank you enough for coming on. Was there any last things you could think of that you wanted to tell people about Linux Fest in general?
And if you can't right now, Russ, I have a bunch of emails and voicemails to play. Are you done, Dor?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to Russ. If you have anything now, Russ, let us know.
No, I think I covered anything, but if anybody wants to contact me with any questions, you can email Russ at thetechiegeek.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome.
All right, and if you're still on Windows, go into iTunes and give him a good review.
Definitely do that. Anywhere you find him, give him a good review.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is a voicemail from Jose from computerdoctor.com. It's computer with a Q. And I hit play, and what happened? I don't know if maybe Google Voice does not save messages 2 weeks old or older.
I thought it did.
I thought so too. Wow. This one is not playing. All right, Jose, I'm going to come back to that because I'm definitely not going to read the Google transcript. You do not want me to do that. This is from Charles. He says, "Hey guys, I've been listening for a while now, and I really enjoy the show. I really need your help. Been stuck in a situation where some of our software has to run on Windows." Being stuck in a situation where some of our software has to run on Windows makes backups somewhat painful. So my question is it possible to dual boot the Windows box with some light distro of Linux and use cron and rsync to back up the Windows files to a free NAS box on the LAN automatically? Should the NAS box have an NTFS partition to store these files? Have you heard of anyone doing this? Thanks in advance and keep up the great podcast. Charles. Dor, you did answer them. Do you want me to read your answer, or do you want to tell us in a new unit of time here?
Well, you can go ahead and read it off. It isn't too long if I remember.
Okay. Dor says, "Hello, Charles. 3 words. Oh, hell yes." See, this is the kind of response you get from Dor. You get entertainment and bundled up with good information. He says, "Oh, hell yes. Okay, this email might be a touch long." Dor just said it was short. But once you set this up, it's so easy to do again, in my opinion. The NAS box can have any type of formatting. It will make no difference when you connect to a 100% cross-platform network device in Linux, Windows, or Mac. It is seen as a Samba file system. Did I say that right, Dor? When you connect to a 100% cross-platform network device in Linux, Windows, or Mac, it is seen as a Samba file system. Samba is a network protocol on the NAS device. It handles the file/folder requests and translates them back into whatever the native disk format is, from FAT, NTFS to HFS/HFS Plus, and all Linux formats. Okay, now I believe GNOME disk utility can auto-mount an internal drive or partition and/or a network drive with every reboot. I cannot verify. I'm at work right now. And I probably shouldn't have read that. And if it cannot do this in GNOME Disk Utility, then we could find another way. GNOME Disk Utility is just so easy and comes installed with most GNOME-based distros, so I want to try and use that first. The next part gets a little tricky. The question is, what kind of backup do you want to do? Do you want to remove files from the backup that are deleted from the original source? The opposite? Again, this is a small part but an important decision, but we can do that later. Here's a good write-up, but it is a bit wordy and long, and you gave a link to jveweb.net. Looks like an article about incremental backups. You gave him a couple other links, too. I have 2 tools to really simplify this process, GRSync and GNOME Schedule. You guys could Google them. After we're done getting everything to auto-mount with 2 to 3 reboots, make sure the drives get mounted. Just run GRSync, pick up the source, original Windows folders, and destination, NAS backup folder, and pick the choices in the screen/tabs. Here's a tutorial about that. Another link you gave him at pclosmag.com. Just remember to hit, quote, simulation and not execute when you're done. We want to first execute this from the scheduler to be 100% that it is working right. Then, when you're happy, do a file/save as and save that config. This is probably a little bit hard to follow along with, guys, so you might want to rewind this a couple times if you want to get this. Next in GNOME Scheduler is it's super easy to add a task of running the GRSync application with that saved session file. The command in the scheduler will be grsync -e parenthesis or quote name of session end quote. So you gave a lot of links in here. It probably wasn't a good idea to read this email. Please let me know if reading this makes so much. Okay, so you gave a lot of links, some tutorials. The last link you gave was one from linuxloop.com regarding free backups with GRSync and GNOME Schedule. So you gave all the tools. You guys, I hope you got something out of that as far as what tools to use and that it can be done. Dor, you really answer emails thoroughly well.
Well, I mean, the main reason I really wanted you to read this, Steve, and I don't expect you to read more emails like this. Here's the thing. If someone is competent and you ask them a question, 99% of the time, they're going to ask you a question back.
Right.
If I don't know cars and I go up to somebody and say, which car should I get? Their question is going to be something like, well, what's more important to you, this or that? You know?
Right.
Because there is no right, perfect way.
Exactly.
I always try to ask questions back to make sure I'm honing them in on what they want, number one. Number two, if you can think of it, 99.99999% of the time, you can do it in Linux, and it's typically schedulable, scriptable, repeatable with not a lot of effort. I will say the tutorial I linked to, I also am going to plug Linux Basics episode 66, I believe. Literally, that cast we just did was nothing but backups and restoring desktops, laptops, computer devices, and some of the tools that are available to you. I personally think this combination of GRSync, which is a GUI front end, to the most powerful tool in my eyes, rsync. It is phenomenal what it can do. I'll say no one uses it even close to 20% of what it can do. And the second tool, GNOME Scheduler, is a GUI front end to cron or cron tab, which is the ultimate scheduler, period. And these two GUI front ends, the thing I like about them is they actually have the ability to kick you out what code they are running. So as you're designing in a GUI, you can see what it's running and you can evaluate that code itself and learn that code itself. I think this is a perfect stepping stone kind of thing. If anyone needs this, all they got to do, shoot me an email. I'm not putting this in the notes, it's too long.
Can you post it on your Google Plus or something?
I can, but yeah, I will.
I'm just giving suggestions. I don't know.
I think I can, yes.
Okay. But no, what were you going to say? Email you and you could send it to them? Email
me and I'll be happy to forward you the email minus Charles's contact information.
Okay. It apparently looks like voicemails older than 2 weeks will not play anymore. I think Google doesn't want to save them. So I have a couple other voicemails here. We're going to play them. Yeah. Yes.
I do know what Jose called about.
Yeah.
He was talking about Google Music and the Linux client uploader was available.
Oh, he was just telling us that, or?
Yeah, I'm 99% sure. You can download either a .deb or a .rpm file. They're installers for Debian-based file systems or Red Hat-based file systems. I gotta say, Ubuntu installed, uploaded, boom, like a charm. My Mageia or Magia, whatever, the Greek one that I like. The RPM would install. It would never connect to Google. I would put in my credentials, and as soon as I hit the button, connection failed. So, if you're going to do it on Mint or on Ubuntu, I'm 90% sure you're going to have zero issues. I don't even know how long it took to upload. People kept complaining about how slow Google Music was. I literally, Ron Popeiled it. If you don't know who Ron Popeil is, Google him. I literally just said it and walked away and forgot about it. And then like 4 days later or something, I went down. Yep, it's done. Okay, good.
That's awesome. You Popeiled it.
Yeah, I Popeiled it.
All right.
Another doorism.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make a door dictionary. Should we do another voicemail door? You got anything more on that?
Oh, I love voicemails.
All right, here we go.
Hey guys, this is for Linux for the rest of us. It's SJ calling, SJ Geek 89.
Sean.
Two things. One, I just want to say thanks to Door to Door and you, Steve, and Doc Brown for inspiring me more to use Linux a little bit more. I've dabbled with it the past couple of years. I would use it for a couple of days, and then I would need to do something on Windows, and I would go back a couple months later, try it again. So now I have the actual box that I'm using, strictly Ubuntu 11.4. I'm loving it. It's not the family computer, but it's nice. I've been using loading my iPod on it and everything. So just want to say thanks for that. And the other thing is, the reason I'm asking you guys record video and audio all the time, and I'm not going to do.
Yeah, we have a problem with our Google Voice. It just either lasts for a minute or it's been cutting out on people, so I'm sorry about that. We might have to switch services. I hate to find a new number, but Sean got cut off there. I know he sent a second voicemail, so I'm just going to play that. And here it is. Looks like this one's full. Oh, no, it was 8 days ago. You got to be kidding me. This one played yesterday. Okay, anybody using Google Voice, apparently Google saves your emails for 7 days, and that's all you get. Damn. They gave me the transcript, but that's good for almost nothing. Sean, I'll see if there's some other way I could dig that up, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Damn. Sorry about that. Well, let's just keep going and get everybody else's covered before Google decides to trash them on me as well. All right, let's see who this one is from.
Hey guys, it's SJGK9 again. I don't know what happened, just got cut off, but maybe it didn't record. Anyways, two things real quick. Just mention again, I just wanted to thank you guys for inspiring me to use Linux a little more. Using Ubuntu 11.4, things are running great. I love it. I'm a noob, so can't complain, but everything seems to be coming by pretty easily with the help of your guys' show.
I might have to edit this out. I'm going to play this one more time. Sean, I am sorry that this is happening, my friend. Give me a second here. Google Voice. Not Goggle Voice. Google Voice. And let's pull this one up. That's not the one. Let's pull this one up. Play that. Here we go again. That's final time.
JK9 again. I don't know what happened. Just got cut off, but maybe it didn't record. Anyways, two things real quick. Just mention again, I just wanted to thank you guys for inspiring me to use Linux a little more. Using Ubuntu 11.4, things are running great. I love it. I'm a noob, so can't complain, but everything seems to be coming by pretty easily with the help of your guys' show and tips and everything. So I just want to say thanks for that. And so the other thing is, because like I said, you guys record video and audio all the time doing podcasts. What I'm planning on doing is I kind of want to start doing a video audio journal. Maybe once or 2-3 times a week going on there, maybe 5-10 minutes, whatever. And just kind of giving a little, rundown of my day or whatever, or just what's going on. Kind of like, I want to get the whole family doing it, me, the kids, but I'm going to start off by myself. So what I want to know is, I can search around if I find some, but what would be the best application to use in Linux to do something like that? Because I want it to sound good, look good, because I'm hoping, just like, we see back, our parents did like Super 8s and everything, you can kind of look back, and it's kind of cool. That's my plan. So like down the road, my kids can kind of look back and, see Dad when he was younger, or see themselves as kids. And as you may have noticed, I didn't say my wife because she probably will not partake because she'll think I'm weird, but I think the kids will appreciate it down the road. So, yeah, it's something in Linux. Obviously, that's what I'm calling for on this show. So any suggestions I'd appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Bye. That's
Sean. I commend Sean for being persistent and trying to get his family involved with his geekiness. Good luck with it. I know it's not Linux, but I know a good browser-based journal and that people have used is Posterous, or Posterous. You can basically you create a video and you can upload to Posterous, and there's so many ways to. It's almost like a blog that almost writes itself. There's so many ways to get your stuff into Posterous that it's probably the easiest way for him to do it, I think. But as far as a Linux app, any ideas, you guys?